As Doctor said, I'm Detective Inspector Alexander Annan. Most of you know me. I'm just the immediate past VUSA president. Tonight, I am privileged to share a few things with you. Permit me to share my screen. Please, can you see my screen? Please, is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes. All right. Thank you. So once again, I would like to take this opportunity to welcome you all to today's short seminar. It's going to be brief. And as Dr. Duncan indicated, it's about computer ethics, cybercrime realities, and Ghana's legal framework. As he rightly said, I'm a product of Valley View University. And as a police officer, as a prosecutor at the circuit court as well, I've come across several instances where criminals, or I would say accused persons who were brought before court, were involved in cyber crime. And I deem it fit that we have the opportunity to share Ghana's legal framework and then a few cybercrime realities and how we can also merge it with computer ethics as IT professionals. This presentation is delivered from a law enforcement perspective. In my line of duty, I do not deal with theories. I deal with consequences, arrest of perpetrators, prosecutors, victims, people who have ruined their careers. Every year in Ghana, individuals are arrested for cases of unauthorized system access, cyber fraud, identity theft, online extortion, non-consensual image sharing, among others. Many of them are young, educated, and technically skilled. They have really learned and they are experts in what they do. And most of these cyber criminals are not ignorant. No, they are really skilled, as I said. But the sad aspect is that they are unethical. You may ask why this discussion matters to you this evening. In today's world, if you talk of sectors such as the banking, election processes, telecommunications, health, governance, and others, these are all driven by technology. And it is IT professionals who control these powerful systems. The people behind them are IT professionals, and they control such systems. Cyber misconduct has real legal consequences. And as I said earlier, many of these cybercrime suspects are not ignorant, but they are technically skilled, just that they are unethical. So sadly, you will see that they have the skill, but the skill without ethics becomes risk. You have the skill, you manage the system, but if you don't have ethics, it becomes risk. We are IT professionals, not only IT professionals here, but most of us here, once we have in our hands digital devices, we can follow these things. And as professionals or as future professionals, there is no doubt that we are going to control the back end of systems, meaning what people outside are seeing, you are going to see beyond that. You are going to see what is inside the system. And you have access to sensitive information, sensitive databases. For instance, if you have the opportunity to work with MTN, you have the opportunity to see information of users. These are sensitive database on users. You are going to handle personal data of people. For instance, in your school, maybe you have been chosen to manage the system for your district. You have the information of all your teachers or all your pupils right on your machine. So you are going to handle such information. Some will be privileged to handle or to design authentication systems. You are going to design them and you are going to really handle them. The systems you have created, you are going to really handle them. Some will have the opportunity to even work at the national level where the security of sensitive infrastructure will be in their hands. The most dangerous cyber criminal is not the one outside. It's not the one outside the system, but rather it is the insider who understands the system. So the one who is outside doesn't know what is inside. So he is only trying to break into it to see what is inside. But you, the IT professional, you are in the system, you know what is in it. So you become the most dangerous cyber criminal here. So it is obvious that once you have such access, you have the privilege to have access to such information, then you have a huge responsibility on your shoulder. Basically, when we talk of computer ethics, what comes to mind is that we talk about responsible use of digital systems, how to respect people's privacy. Respect for privacy is very key. What about intellectual property? You have to also respect intellectual property of others. How do you go by lawful means of accessing information? You need a certain information. What are the lawful ways you have to use in order to access such information? Ethics comes in here. The fact that someone has given you his laptop to install something on it for him or her doesn't mean you should go into the system and be searching for things. It's unethical. You must have a lawful access to whatever information you need. Then whatever system you design, you are accountable for it. So accountability plays a key role in ethics. All these we are talking about in Ghana, digital misconduct is not handled socially, no, but it is handled legally. Ethics is enforced by law. In Ghana, such conducts are enforced by law. I would like to briefly take you through some of the legal frameworks we have in Ghana. Then we will delve into specific offenses outlined in some of these laws. So we have the Electronic Transactions Act of 2008. That's Act 7. We also have the Cyber Security Act of 2020. That's Act 1038. We have the Data Protection Act of 2012, Act 843. We also have the RTI Act, that is the Right to Information Act, which was passed in 2019, Act 989. There is also in existence the Copyright Act, dating back to 2005, Act 690. So it is obvious that Ghana has laws to regulate the conduct of IT professionals. In the digital space, we need to regulate the conduct of people. And these laws are there to regulate that. And what you should take note is that these laws are not just decorative laws. They are not just books there, no. But these laws are actively enforced in Ghana. So if you hear that someone has shared someone's nude picture on social media and the person is being prosecuted, the law is being enforced. The law is actively at work. Now, briefly, let's look at a few of them. We will go deep into the sections and others because I want you to get overview of the laws in Ghana so that when you are doing something with your system or with your device, with your electronic device, whatever digital device you have in your hand, whatever you are doing, you know that it has consequences. Some of the cybercrime offenses include unauthorized access to systems, circumventing security protocols, identity theft, cyber fraud, then interfering with critical infrastructure. If we talk of unauthorized access to systems, going forward, we will look at that. This is enshrined in the Electronic Transactions Act of 2008, Act 772. These are all cybercrime offenses. Unauthorized access to a protected computer is found in Section 118 of the Electronic Transactions Act. If you access or you attempt to access a protected computer system without authorization, it amounts to a fine or imprisonment up to 10 years. So, for instance, you find yourself in Valley View University campus. They have ITS system, you have the high school, then you have taken a course online on how to hack a system. And without authorization, you try to access that system. If you are arrested, you can be convicted to a term of 10 years imprisonment. The other offense under Section 119 of the Electronic Transactions Act of 2008 is obtaining electronic payment medium by false representation. This is common in Ghana. It talks about fraudulently obtaining credit cards and then electronic payment tools. Those fraudsters who are using all means to defraud people. It's a crime. And when arrested, or you have a pre to 10 years. These laws are very, very active. And if you look at the sentences attached to them, if you are an IT professional, you need to be very careful. You also have unauthorized interference with electronic records. That's found in Section 125 of the Electronic Transactions Act. You may try to modify or destroy any electronic record without authority. It's also a serious offense. And when convicted, you can be fined or imprisoned up to 5 years. We also have people who use software and devices to bypass computer security systems. Some of these things we've been seeing them in movies, where probably there is a security camera. Then somebody will hack into it and off it so that criminals can pass without being detected. When there is such unauthorized circumvention of security measures, it's also a serious crime. And the punishment is a fine or up to 5 years. Friends, we have denial of service attacks, where people interfere with access to information system to prevent legitimate users from accessing it. Just like people jamming a system where the users are not able to access the system. It's also an offense. And it's also punishable by fine or imprisonment up to 2 years. We have unlawful access to stored communications. That's Section 129 of the Electronic Transactions Act. People access stored electronic communications without authorization. MTN, usually when you call, they are toll free. They tell you that they are recording for a certain purpose. And sometimes you get people's communication on the social media, where probably it can be that a worker at the MTN office is engaging in a communication with a user. And then you will find this recording the social media. The question is, how did the person access such stored communications on the system? It becomes an unlawful access, and the punishment is a fine or imprisonment up to 10 years. So if you are an IT professional, whatever digital device you are using, there's a huge responsibility when usage. There are consequences attached to whatever action you take with your digital device. We have unauthorized disclosure of access codes. There are people who disclose passwords of people. They have access code. They have access to the codes. and then they give it out to people so that such unauthorized persons can have access to the systems. This is also a serious offense. And if you look at the imprisonment attached to it, the punishment is a fine and imprisonment up to 20 years. This is very serious. So if you happen to find yourself somewhere, you have people's password in the system, you are in the system, you know what the credential, what is used to access the system by users, then you give that out. Usually, you find workers, as I said, the insider is the most dangerous person because he is in the system and he can now give out such vital information to unauthorized persons for them to have access to the system. And the imprisonment is up to 20 years. As IT professionals, let's be very careful. We have other offenses relating to national security information. And when unauthorized access to computers containing government, financial, or national security information is also a serious offense. And conviction is up to 20 years. You work at the national level, maybe Ministry of Defense, or maybe national security. You have access to government information. You work with controller and accountants general. You have financial information. You have information on finance. Then, without authority, you access them and you share on your group page. You share it with your colleagues. Look at how much this person is taking. Look at how much this one is taking. That is one way demonstration, and others, they don't mind us. Once you don't have authority to access such information, it's an offense because it contains government or financial or national security information. You got to know that President will be traveling next week, and this is probably his route. And then you have such information and you dig it and throw it out there. It's an offense. And the conviction is up to a term of 20 years imprisonment. Friends, what we are talking about is serious. Electronic Communications Act of 2008, Act 775, also highlights in Section 77 damage or interference with communication equipment. When you damage or interfere with telecommunication facilities or computer systems, it's an offense. In movies, sometimes you see someone will plant something closer to a communication equipment and then through that causes damage to it. And then they are able to operate, they are able to hijack the whole system. It's an offense. And the punishment is a fine or imprisonment up to 5 years. We have reprogramming mobile phones. That's the IMI tampering. You know, people have ways of changing or interfering with a mobile device identifier. You know, every mobile device has a unique identifier. You are able to track the unique number of the mobile phone. So if it is the case that you are able to reprogram the phone so that that unique device identifier is changed or interfered with, is an offense. For instance, someone has bought a techno phone. It has a unique IMEI number. Then someone is able to reprogram it and change it. Now, if that device gets missing and the owner brings the box that this is the box of the phone I bought, and this is the number. Now, you compare it with the exhibit phone, and then there is a different IMEI number on the phone, meaning the number on the box differs from the number on the phone, on the device. Meaning someone has reprogrammed it for it to give a different device identifier. And it is an offense. And the punishment is a fine or imprisonment up to 5 years. So if you are an IT professional, someone brings a phone and say that I want you to change the IMEI of the phone, or I want you to interfere with it so that they will not be able to track the phone, they will not be able to identify the phone. Think about this presentation and think twice. Changing it or interfering with it goes with a fine or an imprisonment up to 5 years on conviction. The Cybersecurity Act of 2020, Act 1038, this has become a common offense on the social media, on the internet. Non-consensual sharing of intimate images. If you have someone's intimate image on your phone, it's now private. If you want to share it and it's without the consent of the person, it's an offense. Don't say the lady has dogged me, the lady has left me, so those nude pictures I took while we were there, I'm going to put them out there. It's an offense. Sharing private images online without the consent of the person is an offense. And the punishment ranges between 1 and 3 years imprisonment. And then not only sharing, but there are some, according to Section 68, even if to share the intimate images, it's also an offense. And the punishment is the same. You know, in law, there's something we call intent. That is why we say attempt to steal is like stealing. Because once you form the intent to commit an offense or a crime, meaning if you had succeeded, you would have done it. So once you threaten to share it, you have formed the intent that if you get, you will do it. So the punishment is the same, ranging between 1 and 3 years. So if it is over, throw them away and don't think you are using it to trap her or to extort or to probably get something from her. No, it's also an offense. Oxia is here. That's online child sexual exploitation and abuse. You have people online. This is also in the Cybersecurity Act of 2020. There are people online. They engage in grooming, sextortion, and indecent images of children. Before I proceed, just look at the number of years there. When it comes to children, We need to be very careful. If you have indecent images of a child on your phone, please be careful. Because if it finds itself out there, you will be traced. So the punishment for online child sexual exploitation and abuse ranges between 5 and 25 years. It's serious. These laws are actively enforced in Ghana. I spoke about Data Protection Act. That's Act 843. And the issue of how risky an insider can be. Under that act, we must lawfully process people's personal data. The reason for which you took the information, please go by that. Find a lawful means of processing people's data. Don't misuse any privileged access that you have been given, because you will be liable for it. Do not misuse whatever privilege that you have been granted. Probably they've given you a certain level of access, and then they've made you probably an administrator of a system. Please be careful not to misuse it, because you will be held liable. And as I said earlier, insider breaches have always been a common cause of cybercrime cases in Ghana and everywhere, because the one who is inside is very dangerous and can help the outsider easily break into the system. So as IT professionals, when you are entrusted with a data, know for yourself that legally you are accountable for it. Legally, you are accountable for it. Please, if you have the opportunity to access people's data lawfully, maybe the district has given you data for you to work on it for them, know that legally you are accountable. Anything that happens to that data, you will be held responsible. One common thing, we have intellectual property, and we're looking at Act 690, where we have software piracy, very common nowadays, and it's illegal according to the Act. We have people who are having codes. People copy such codes without probably making reference to the owners. It amounts to code plagiarism. It's also an offense, and it has legal consequences. So when you happen to get someone's code online, whatever, please acknowledge the source of it. Then unauthorized digital distribution is also punishable. Distribution, we need to be very careful. When it is with you on your device, You have not distributed it. It remains private. It's on you. It's personal. But the moment you send it to a friend, the moment you send it to a relative, the moment you put it out there, you put it on that social media, it becomes unauthorized digital distribution of the digital material, and it becomes an offense. Please, let's respect ownership in the digital space. When you carefully look at Article 1F, Clause 1F of Article 21 of the 1992 Constitution, it is obvious that we have legal access to information. We have a constitutional right to information. And this is also enshrined in the Right to Information Act, as I mentioned earlier, Act 989 of 2019. Ghana promotes transparency, it's true. Ghana does not deny anybody access to information. But what it does is that it regulates access. I'm taking that again. Ghana does not deny access to information, but it rather regulates access. There is a legal way to access information. So as Ghana is promoting transparency, it is through lawful procedures. So what are some of the lawful procedures we have? That is probably throwing more light on Article 21, Clause 1F of the 1992 Constitution. We have the RTI application. This is the proper process. A formal application to the Right to Information Commission, or wherever you need the information from, make an official application to the place. You need information from Valley View University. Officially or formally, write and apply for the specific information you need to Valley View University. Don't sit back and try hacking the system to get the information you want. No, it's illegal. Now, when you officially write to Valley View University, it will go through institutional review. What goes through in the institutional review is for them to consider whether such information should be given you or not. So if it happens that Valley View decides not to give you the information based on certain grounds, and you are not okay with it, please don't crack passwords that you break in and take the information by force. No, that will fall under the illegal access. Second step, if it fails, you can write to the Right to Information Commission. The Right to Information Act establishes a commission that enforces the act, that also sees to all these issues about access to information. So when you write to the Right to Information Commission, they will also assess and then get the information for you. If that fails, please don't steal data. Don't break into the system. Don't say that.
Hello,
Because
Mr. Anand.
yes, sir.
Yeah, please, I think your screen is off.
My screen is off, right?
Yeah, if you could reshare.
Oh, okay, sir. Please, can it be seen now?
Yes,
Yes, please.
hello. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can see. So, friends, if you have questions, you can drop them in the page as well. So please, you can go on, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for the prompt. Thank you. So I was on the lawful, the illegal access, unlawful access. And these are the lawful processes outlined by the law. You make official application for the information to wherever you need the information. Where you ask for the information, will now have to review your application, whether such information should be given you or not. Maybe you apply to Valley View University requesting for a certain information from their system which is sensitive. They can deny you access to the information. If you are not satisfied, you write officially to the Right to Information Commission, and they too will sit on it, review your request. And if it's not granted, it doesn't end there. Please don't break into the system that you are going to look for the information yourself. The law makes provision for you to appeal to the High Court. I have indicated here that if you are entitled to information, the law gives you a door, and that is the door I have shown you. Breaking the system is choosing the wrong path. You have a right to information, but it should be by lawful means. But the existence of your right to that information does not justify any unlawful means of acquiring the information. No. So please, let's take note of this procedure so that if you are working somewhere and need information from maybe an institution or somewhere, let's follow these lawful procedures and it will help us. Now let's delve briefly into what the court does. Now you are not satisfied. You have made an appeal to the High Court. Now this is what happens at the court. The court may review the refusal decisions of the institution where you applied to. So as I cited, you applied to Valley View University for certain information and you were refused. The court will now review grounds on which they refused your application. And then if the court finds that no, they have to give out that information, that is where the court will now order what we call disclosure, meaning it will be an order from the court directed at where you need the information. And once it is by court order, whoever is supposed to provide that information will have to provide that information to the court for you to have access to it. So we have the law. What would you to Yeah, please, sorry. I think I had a small network challenge. So please let me reshare my screen. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Please, can you hear me? Please, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. Sorry for the short interruption. Yes. So I was on the point that we have these legal means that you can use to obtain whatever information you need, but there is a balance. The fact that you need a certain information doesn't mean certain things can be overlooked. No. So in court, these are the issues they consider. Is there any national security issue? The information you are requesting, is it going to have any effect on national security? If it is yes, that information will not be given to you. What about privacy rights? You have a right to information. Someone also has a right to privacy. So the fact that you need the information doesn't mean that the person's privacy should be violated. So the law will also consider, the court will consider if it will evade the privacy of someone. If it is going to go against the privacy of someone, then you will not be granted. What about public interest? Is it going to serve the public interest? If it's no, if it is something that is going to cause chaos in the country or whatever, and it's not in the interest of the public, you will be denied access to such information. What about ongoing investigations? Maybe there was a crime committed at Valley View University, and now police is conducting investigation into the crime. You went there requesting for CCTV footage of the scene. Once there is an ongoing investigation, giving such information to you or giving such footage to you is really going to affect the ongoing investigation. So the court will obviously deny you access to such information. So we should know that there is a balance. But rights to information are enforced in court, but not by breaking systems. No. Rights are enforced in court, but not by breaking systems. The courtroom is where rights are enforced, not the server room. The courtroom is where rights are enforced, but not the server room. So breaking into the server to get whatever information you want is criminal, is unlawful. And sometimes we have dangerous justifications. Some of these common ones has to do with somebody. I was exposing corruption. Hey, you are exposing corruption. Is it through the lawful means? Someone will say the public deserves to know. Yes, the public deserves to know. But the question is, did you use the lawful means in obtaining what information you want the public to know? Public interest does not override criminal statutes automatically. You saying that The public need to know. That's why I entered and got that information. Cannot automatically override criminal statutes. No. So only the court can determine whether the disclosure is justified or not, whether exemptions apply or not, whether national security or privacy issues outweigh transparency. And as IT professionals, please, we must never access what we are not authorized to access. Never access what you are not authorized to access. Someone comes to you and say that, oh, please enter this system for me and then let me check something. Are you authorized to access it? If it's no, then please. The document that you want to maybe see, are you permitted to see it? Make sure you get the right permissions before you do certain things. Let's also protect user privacy. The privacy of our users, we talked about it. Let's please protect it. And as we have just seen, let's follow lawful channels whenever we want to access information. Someone comes to you and then says that, oh, I need this information. You are working under your boss, but you are behind the system. Instead of you to follow the right channel by telling your boss that, oh, please, this person needs this information for your boss to tell you that, okay, give it to him because you are behind the system. You just get the information and then give it to him. You've not followed the lawful channel in giving out such information. Let's please guard our professional reputation. It is very, very important. In digital, I'm doing all these things. I cannot be caught, or maybe I cannot be traced. It's never true. Cyber investigations involve, please, IP tracing. When you are sending things over the internet, whatever network or whatever you are using in transferring whatever information, there is a trace. The very device that was used in sending the information can be traced. We have device forensics. The very device that you are using, it has certain prints in it that accompany whatever information you send out there. A typical example is when you use your phone to capture an image. When you go to the picture, you can check the properties of the image and you get to know the phone used, the time and the date, and sometimes even light exposure, whether the flash was used or not. They are all accompanying the image, the picture you took. They are financial trace or financial analysis. Where you go to the banks, you are able to follow how certain financial transactions have taken place in the system. Cyber investigations things. There is also a telecom corporation, that's the telcos. When someone uses the number to fraud someone, through the court, we can apply to the telecommunication. If it is MTN user or Telecel or whatever, we write to them and they are able to disclose the information of the user. That one, the privacy of the person doesn't come to play because it is for ongoing investigation in a crime that has been committed. So these telecommunications will obviously give out the details of the number that committed the offense. So if you use your phone to send certain text messages or whatever, you think that you have deleted it from your phone. So when police arrest you, there's nothing on the phone. You are joking. up there, your footprints are there. I talked about metadata briefly. Even the document, the format of it, date it was created, date modified, and all those things, you can get them. That is what we call data about data. So in cyber investigations, we look at all these things. So what you should bear in mind is that some of these footprints hardly disappear completely. So sometimes the criminals, when you are in court, and after taking the itemized bail, you are able to tell them that, Kofi, you were standing at a shaman when you called Kwame, who was at Accra, and you met at Nkoko, and then you did the operation. He will be looking at you and then wouldn't even have any question to ask, because what you are saying is exactly what he did. But he doesn't know how you were able to figure out that he was at a shaman. But he doesn't know that all the calls he was doing, the messages and others, he was leaving a footprint up there, which one day it can be hunted for. As IT professionals, let's please be very, very careful. We have a few case studies that I want to rush through. These are practical scenarios. The first one is about a curious developer. A student discovers hidden procurement data in a government system. I think this one we have touched on it. We just want to make it practical. A student has discovered there are some hidden procurement data in a government system. Government had made purchases of certain things, but it is hidden in the system. It's not in the public. People don't know. But this student has discovered it. The options available. Should he hack and retrieve the data? Should he leak the information? Should he file an RTI request? Should he report through lawful channels? Please, which option is ethical? Which option is lawful? And what laws may apply if the student decides to hack? Please, at this point, I need a few responses on this quickly so that we can wrap up, please. Yes. Is there a student discovers hidden procurement data in a government system? We talked about you finding yourself in a government sector where you are behind a system and then you find such information. Which option is ethical for you? Which option is lawful? And what laws may apply if you choose to hack the system? Please, any reaction, please, quickly. Yes.
I think
Please, I'm waiting.
I think you report through lawful channels.
Okay, going through lawful channel.
Yes, sir.
Very well. Okay, please, any other? Please, any other? So what law may apply if the person decides to hack the system?
If he is caught, he will be fined. He will be fined, or he will be taken to court and be convicted.
Okay. Can we make specific reference to any legal enactment or a law that can probably hold him for his action if he hacks? Can someone recollect any of the acts, any of the laws that may apply if he decides to hack?
Hello?
Yes, sir. I'm with
Hello?
you.
Okay. So I think here the Cybercrime Act 2020 would
Yeah.
be applied.
Okay. So once there's unauthorized access, it will hold him. All right. Very well. So hacking and retrieving the data is unethical, and leaking the information is also unethical. Filing an RTI request, he can do that. And then reporting lawful channels is also permitted. Yes, these are all ethical means. Fine. So we made mention of the Cyber Security Act. That's good. Now, this is a common one for most of us. Sometimes we say, I was testing. I was just testing. Sometimes when you are on campus, you say, oh, I've learned hacking small, so let me try and see if I can test Valley View website to see if it is secured. So a student tests a company's website security without permission. A student tests a company's website security without permission. Maybe find yourself on Valley View campus, you say, oh, or maybe wherever you are, let me test the website to see if it is secured. In this case, is intent enough to justify action?
Yes.
Please response here. Is intent, because his intention is to test if it is secured. But is intent enough to justify the action?
No, please. You have no right hacking into the system. So once you hacked into the system, the laws will deal with you. Whether you wanted to test or steal an information, you'll be dealt with.
Okay, so that will jump us to the next one. What is ideally required before pen test? If you want to do a penetration test, what is required before that is done? Because it's more or less trying to penetrate to test whether it's secured. But what is required?
You write an official institution.
Please come again. I think our network today is very bad. Yes, but I
You have
heard
to
you.
write
Please, if you can come again, please. Okay, I think it's because of the network. Yes. So,
Even wants to test, you have to write officially to the authorities to ask for permission. If they allow you, then you test what. If they don't allow you, you don't. Once you do without authorization, it becomes a criminal offense.
that's great. Yes, that's great. So, as indicated here, authorization must precede testing. Yes. So you must seek authorization. You have to seek for permission before you can proceed with any testing of a site or a system. Yes, that's great. Yes. Now this is trending. Universities and others, this is common. Non-consensual image sharing. Now a student shares private images received in confidence. Maybe the girlfriend or the boyfriend sent such image to him or her in confidence, privately. Then he decided to share it with a friend. Is there any ethical breach? Yes, please. I'm waiting for a response. Is there any ethical breach to share private image received in confidence? Is there any ethical breach here?
Yes.
Hello, please. Can I be heard?
Network is breaking.
Yes, it is.
Yes, sir, it is.
Oh, okay. So you can come clear on that. Please, can you hear me?
Sir, please, it is because he or she did not ask for the consent from the girlfriend before sharing it to the other friend.
Very well. That's great. Once,
Hello.
yes.
Yeah, please, it's unlawful. It's not right. According to the Cybersecurity Act 2020, that's Act 1038, that is Section 66, that's unlawful disclosure of private sexual images. So you don't have the right to do that. So it's unlawful.
That's good, because looking at the legal implications under Act 1038, yes, it's unlawful for the person to share such images without the consent of the other person. So that is non-consensual sharing of image. It's an offense, and it also violates the privacy of the person under the Privacy Act Act 843. Yes. So what we should bear in mind is that our digital actions have permanent legal consequences on us. So that image, you just click something and then it's sent to someone without the consent of the person, it has permanent legal consequences on us. Finally, there's this employer pressure. I brought it in here, and then Dr. Duncan from the beginning was given a scenario like that. An employer instructs a developer to secretly harvest user data. Let's take it that you have designed a software for a school that they are using. Now, the very people who probably you have sold to has now instructed the developer of that system to secretly harvest user data. Does employer instruction override criminal law? That is the first question here. When the employer instructs that you should secretly harvest user information, does that instruction from your employer, from your boss, override criminal law? Please, I need a quick response here as we bring it to a close, please. It's your boss who instructed you. Or let's take it that it is the boss. Yes, sir.
Hello, sir. Yeah. So this question, when it comes to Ghana, I think the boss will take charge. But if only the boss will take down, that one day I won't do it. But you see, Ghana, even when the subordinate doesn't do it, it might be sacked. And if he reports to the police station because of monetary aspect, his rights will be infringed. So when it comes to Ghana, as someone said, its law always favors the rich. So for this, depending on my side,
No,
to
please.
lose
If
my
only
job,
the
then
rule of law in Ghana
we'll
Yes.
take the person on there, my boss on there, fine.
because the rule of law says everybody is under the law. So be if the president is under the law. Therefore, you are employer has no right to search information, and it becomes a criminal act. Both you and the employer will be dealt with.
All right. So, in any other, you are the developer, and
Sir, please, as the saying goes, the law is the law.
mm-hmm.
The law is the law. So it's wrong for you to even adhere to what the employer will do. What consequence that comes, you have to be ready to take it. And to have a good name is better than being in trouble. I think that is my view.
Very well. So, does liability come to play here? When you talk of personal liability, because you are the developer and you sold the system to someone, and then the employer of that company has tasked you, the developer, to secretly harvest user data. So you, the developer, is there any personal liability that will arise out of this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, madam. Please, I'm listening.
I'm saying that the person can and the employer can decide not to recontact you for any software again because you did not comply with his request. So you could lose future contracts with the same company because of that.
Okay, so in that case, as a professional, how should you respond?
I will let the employer know that it's against the law and I'm not ready to face the law or the consequences of the law. So I wouldn't be able to do it. Unless maybe he would write an undertaking at the let's say the court to indicate that he is doing it and anything that happens is ready to face the law before I will do that for him.
Okay. And I will also tell him that our ethics are against what he wants me to do, so I will not do it. It's against my ethics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please, any other?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, please. I think I get your question. That means I develop software. I don't work there. So if I don't work there and I sell the codes or the software to them, I'll tell the person to contact the immediate boss. Because once the software is given to you, I don't have any relationship with you, the employer. And how did the employer even get access to me? That's even a bigger question.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you all for the submission. So, as the scenario said, if an employer instructs a developer to secretly harvest user data, the fact that he is doing secretly is unethical. You have sold it to an employer, they are using it. So once you are being taxed to secretly harvest, meaning it is something you are going to do unlawfully. So when it comes like that, that employer's instruction does not override criminal law. It still makes your action criminal. You cannot say that, oh, I was taxed by the employer. It was the boss of the company who asked me to do it. It is still unlawful. It is still criminal. Usually when you arrest people, they say that, oh, I'm not the one. It is the boss who said I should do it. So the instruction here doesn't override criminal law. And then there is a personal liability arising from this because you are personally liable for the action you've taken by secretly harvesting those data or those user information without authority. And then as a professional, we need to be very careful how to act professionally, how to act ethically when it comes to our work. So here, individual accountability applies here. We need to be very, very careful. The key lessons from the case study, as we have seen, the ability to hack into a system, the ability you have to enter any system, it is not authorization. That doesn't mean you have authorization to do that. Having a good intention, I wanted the public to know it's of public interest. It's not immunity. It does not free you from the consequences of the law. Public interest cannot also be an automatic defense. It is in the interest of the public that I did this. It is not a defense. Ethics protects careers. If you are ethical, you protect your career. And we must always follow due processes in protecting the rights of other people. Please, if you are very, very intelligent, if you are very skilled in breaking systems, the law does not fear you. The law is not afraid of you. The law regulates power. You have to control systems, to manage systems. The law regulates power. And you have the ethics you can will determine whether you become trusted professionals or criminal defendants. Let's please choose integrity. Thank you for your time, and I'm really happy that you have all stayed on, even though the network wasn't all that good. But I'm happy we've been able to sail through to the end. Thank you so much for your time. I'm grateful. So we will be having more of these. Thank you so much. Dr. Duncan, please, I'm grateful. Doctor, please, can you hear me?
I have a question before.
Doctor, please, can you hear me?
Hello, sir. I have a question.
I think the network.
Sir, can you hear us?
I think he can not hear. Please, if you have any question, you can kindly ask. Thank you. Please, kindly bring it up. Thank you. Yes, please kindly go ahead with your question.
Sir, I want to find out if you and your partner, you have decided to take a picture of yourself, or you have released, you agree, and you have released a picture that is not good for the consumption of the public into the system, even though the two of you agree before you have done that. Is it not punishable by law?
Please come again. Let me get you clear. The two of you, like you and your partner, if agreed to take a picture of
yourselves, or you have done something which is not good and it is not good for the public consumption, but after you have finished, you have released it into the public domain for their consumption. That is it not unlawful? Is it not against the laws of the nation?
Okay, if I got you right, let's take it that you and your partner maybe took images or nude images of yourselves and then put it out there on the maybe on the social media, and you are asking if that is also an offense. I don't know if that is your
Yes,
question.
please. Yes, please.
Oh, okay, very well. Please, any reaction from the class, please, before I come in. Any reaction from the class?
Sir, it's unlawful.
Someone was speaking, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, please,
Yeah.
it's unlawful.
Come again. Please, I hardly hear you. Hello?
So she's saying that it's unlawful.
As she's saying it's unlawful.
Yes, please.
Oh, okay. Please, any other reaction from what we've studied? Can we make references? Can we respond to it? Okay, so let me briefly say this. You know, the moment let's say the couples, like the couple consented to putting that in the public domain, that in itself, they have put it out there and they have put it out for public consumption. So that one, no individual apart from them can be held responsible for that. But if in the Ghanaian context, we get to know that it amounts to indecent exposure, that is where the law will now, we have an offense in the Criminal Offences Act, that is Act 29 of 1960. We call it gross indecence or indecent body exposure. The act forbids you publicly or you sharing nude images or inscriptions or whatever to the public. So when it happens like that, such couple under that act can be arrested and convicted for posting such obscene material on out there to the public. So it is unlawful in Ghana for you to do that. Even though you willingly threw it out there, that one is already in the public domain. So you can't hold individual who is having it that it is the person who sent it out there without authority. No. Since you have put it there, you will be held responsible for posting or for we call it publication. You have just publicated those nude contents on the internet or in the public domain. So it is an offense. It is an offense. Thank you. So please, any other question? Any other question? Yeah, welcome. I saw some questions on the platform. I don't know if the presentation has covered it. Yes, one, my boss was asking my question. I have observed a criminal enterprise and decided to crack at the same enterprise for evidence before reporting to law authority. Am I wrong at what I am doing? Yes, we've covered that. If you have identified any criminal act going on within the enterprise, we have studied that you follow the lawful means. Yes, you follow the lawful means. You know, criminals tend to cover their tracks. They try so much to delete certain things that will probably not get them exposed. But as I said, there are certain things, the footprints will hardly disappear completely. Yes, because systems are able to keep logs and others that if through investigation, we will be able to get all those things. Someone was also saying every month I receive several annoying loan prompts from different groups, and the only body that have details is the Controller and Accountant General Department. So can I sue them for leaking my information? Yes, this issue has been very, very rampant because you will be there and then someone will say you qualify for a loan. Meanwhile, you have not given your information to anyone. Yes. And we have a few of them who are taking the Controller and Accountant General on because someone is behind a system and the person is giving out such information to people and then they are using it to send mass SMS to those contacts. It's unlawful. It's unlawful. The purpose for which they collected information must be used as such. It's not meant to be given out to financial institutions for them to be sending text message that sometimes even embarrass people. Yes, so that is it. It's unlawful. Yes. Yes, I think someone was responding. Okay. Okay, in his presentation, he talked about cybercrime offenses and punishment attached to it, such as hacking a system, stealing data or information from institutions. I want to know the need or importance of learning hacking, since some sites have materials or videos on YouTube. Why do this learning platform teaches that? Very good. It's a good question. And Emmanuel Addison, thank you so much. You know, hacking, we have ethical hacking and unethical hacking. So we have the white hats and we have the black hats. So the black hats are the bad guys. They do unethical hacking where they break into systems without authority and others. So ethical hackers are there. And ethical hacking purposely is meant for a company or maybe an institution or whoever engages an ethical hacker to assess the system and identify vulnerabilities. So it must be done with permission. You must have access. You must be granted access before you can do it. So people who learn ethical hacking, let's say you go to a bank, or maybe a bank employs you that, okay, we are giving you authority to access our system and see what are the vulnerabilities. What can hackers do? Can a hacker break it? And what are we to do to put our system in place so that it will be secured? It is the work of a hacker, but it is through ethical hacking. So hacking in itself is not bad. Entering the system is not bad, but it must be done lawfully. It must be done with authority. So the moment it is done without authority, then you are operating like the bad guys. So that is that. So ethical hacking is lawful, it's legal. And we have a lot of companies that engage ethical hackers to test their systems to find out if they have vulnerabilities, and then they recommend ways that they can fix those vulnerabilities. Thank you. These days, teachers capture videos of students and other activities and put on social media. At what stage or point do we have to be mindful of cyber law? All right, so boss, if the content doesn't go against any law, maybe if it is you playing with the children or whatsoever, fine. But if it is a case where probably it amounts to you grooming the child, or it amounts to online child sexual exploitation or abuse, then it becomes an offense. So it depends on the content of the video of the teacher and the student and the activities they are engaging in. That will determine whether it's a lawful act or not. That is where cyber law will come in. So if it is, let's say, a child that maybe you have removed the dress and is left with only the panties and you are exposing the child, or no, that one is unlawful. Capturing such a child and putting it out there is unlawful. So someone is saying, Teresa is asking, you unintentionally sent an email which is very sensitive to the wrong person. Is it a breach of cyber law? This is not a breach of cyber, just that you didn't do due diligence. And once you have unintentionally, you said unintentionally, meaning you didn't intentionally send it there, meaning as an IT professional, you did not really take into consideration the due diligence in probably your doing your work, because you need very well that it is sensitive information. So you need to be very careful with the receiver of such information. And then there's one thing we also teach. When you are sending a sensitive information to someone, you need to have a way of you protecting the information that only that person can break. It can be password protected, so that the password can be sent to the person, so that when the person accesses it, the person can use the password to open it. So if you mistakenly send it to someone else, the person cannot open it, but the person wouldn't have the password. So it's like you want to, let's say, send an Excel document to me containing maybe personal information of all teachers in a district in an Excel format. You can put a password on the document, send it to me, and then whoever even steals that document from me through my phone cannot access it. Then I will have the password sent to me through text or maybe through whatever, so that once I know the password, I can now open the document. So it's another way of protecting sensitive information. So that also should be at the back of our mind, so that whenever we are sending sensitive information, in order to be sure, let's protect it with a password, so that when the person receives it, we can now give the person the password to open, so that when it falls into the wrong hands, we will not find ourselves wanting. Yes, thank you. Yeah. Someone said, in reality, I believe the laws in Ghana are made for the poor. Yes, some top officials and politicians use money through bribe, power, and connections to escape from the bad things they do. But for the poor, no mercy for them. Please, can you clarify that for us? What makes you think the laws in Ghana are made for all citizens, irrespective of your status? Well, as we are, this is a general legal standard. The laws of Ghana applies to all, but it is very true that, sometimes you have these big men with money, politicians and others, even opinion leaders, chiefs and others, jumping into cases and other things. It does happen, even cases that go to court. Some of them, you have people applying to the court so that the case can be settled out of court. So it does happen, but basically, the law is made for all. If you go to in someone, we have some big men who have been convicted and they are there, even though they have money, but the law is the law. It caught up with them. So the fact that some were able to escape doesn't mean that the law doesn't apply to us all. The law really applies to all of us. All right. So please, if you copy someone, yes, okay, please, I'm with you.
From the previous explanations, as to if I mistakenly sent information to someone that who doesn't have, who is not supposed to have access to that information. So what if I sent that information intentionally, but when I was caught, I will explain myself that I don't know before I send it. I'm not aware of sending that information. What will you say about that, sir?
That the information has already gotten to the person.
Yes.
So now you don't have control. So you want to have a way of probably righting the wrong, or how to probably cater for the situation to be brought under control. Is that right?
No, it's like maybe I want to sabotage the person. I intentionally,
You want to
I'm aware,
sabotage the person.
I'm very much aware before I send the information to the wrong person. So when I realized that I was caught, then I explained myself that I'm not aware, it's not intentional. So how will you deal with that situation?
Okay, so if it happens that you know the person, then you can contact the person and then take it from there. If it happens that the person has in his possession such information which is very sensitive that you have mistakenly sent to him, I believe the law makes provision that once he is not the lawful receiver of that information, the person cannot contain the information. So now you can now take legal action as action to get the information. Just that it cannot be guaranteed that the person hasn't kept that sensitive information elsewhere. That is why as IT professionals, we need to be very, very careful. So if you mistakenly send a message to someone or a document to someone, sensitive information to someone, if the person is smart, the person can even create a copy somewhere, duplicate it or keep it somewhere, so that when you have access to the phone or the laptop or the device, whatever, and you even delete the information, the person still has it somewhere, because once the person has made the mind that I still want to have access to that information, then the person will probably do that. But it is going to be a great cost to bear as an IT professional, because we will take it that it's a grave mistake that you have done, and correcting it is sometimes highly impossible because the information has already gotten to the person, and whether the person has kept it somewhere, you wouldn't know. So we need to be very, very careful with that. Yes, we need to be very, very careful with that. Now, someone was asking, Patrick was asking, please, if you copyright someone's book and you are caught, what type of laws can that be used to against? Okay, I think we talked about the Copyright Act, so that is it. It's the Copyright Act. Yes. So those fraudsters who called pretends working at the MTN office, who are we to sue, MTN or who? Oh, okay. Yeah, interesting. So please, it's not MTN. You cannot sue MTN. You know, those fraudsters are just impersonating. They are just parading themselves as workers of MTN, but they are not workers. That is why MTN always has a particular number that they use in calling customers. And they keep giving information out as to being careful with fraudsters when they call you that you have won this and that, because MTN will never do that. So it's up to the users to be very careful. Someone calls you with normal MTN number, claiming to be calling from MTN. I mean, this one cannot be the fault of MTN for them to be sued. No. Yes. So if, let's say, someone calls you with an MTN number, but not from the official number of MTN, then MTN cannot be held liable. Yes, MTN cannot be held liable. Yes, so that is that. So thank you so much. I think the questions on the page are exhausted. So please, any other, if there's none, then I think we can bring our section to a close. Thank you all so much for your time. Doctor, please, can you hear me? Doc, please, can you hear me? Dr. Duncan, please, can you hear me? Okay, while we wait for Doc, please, any quick question, then we can, as I reach out to him to find out.
Please, I have a question.
Mr. Adam,
Okay, Doc. Thank you so much. Thank you, Doc.
In fact, my network went off. It just came.
Please, I have
Sorry
a
about
question.
that.
Can I answer?
Okay, please go ahead.
Please, at the initial stages of his presentation, he stated if somebody decides to access a different person's device, whether a computer or laptop, whatever, and these days you have couples, maybe married couples, saying, I went through his phone, I went through her phone because I suspected my partner cheating. Even boyfriends and girlfriends are doing it. So does it become a criminal offense? Or because they are couples, they have the right to do so?
Man, if I heard you right, it is between couples, or
Yes, please. Either married
and
or boyfriend and girlfriend, one going through the other's phone unauthorized, thinking I suspect the person of cheating. So I'm looking for information.
okay, all right. So I believe, per the law, it amounts to unauthorized access. You know, even though you are married, you are a couple, just that you are married, but you all have your privacy. So if it happens that someone takes your phone without your knowledge and then goes through the phone, it still amounts to unauthorized access. Because that phone, even though it was, let's take it that is the man who bought it for the woman, but it's the woman who is using it. So he has his private or personal information on it. Private chat, personal chat, and others. So that makes it private use. But if she says that, oh, take the phone and go through it and see if there's anything in it, then that one, you have been granted access to go through the phone. But if without the consent of the other person, you go through the device, you have committed, it still amounts to unauthorized access to that electronic device. So that is what most people do. Sometimes maybe the lady will take an image of herself and it is on her phone. And then before you see, that image will find itself on the man's phone. And she will be probably asking, how did this image that is on my phone get to his phone for him to now use it to be threatening me that if I don't do ABC, he will post it on social media. So that one, the law will have to catch up with you on unauthorized access, meaning you access the device without the consent of the other person. So that is the position of the law. Thank you.
Okay, but I just want to add something little. You see, sometimes what Sweta is said is very true, but there are sometimes where people give consent out of anger. So they are talking, and then it's like, if you feel I'm cheating, take my phone and look through. I don't know, officer, does it constitute consent? Because you are chatting, the person is accusing, and then if you feel I'm cheating, just take my phone and look at and go through. I think if you do that, you have given yourself away. So if the person takes the phone and do it, you have given consent. So I think those are some of the things. And also in our joyful moment, we can give consent. When we started the relationship, you started the relationship fresh. You may give your phone out. You may tell your partner the password. So the person has access. Then when things turn south, you begin now to say that your partner is talking. So I think those are some of the things we must also check. Yeah.
Right. Doc, thank you so much. In the absence of any question, looking at our time, I think we have exhausted what we are supposed to cover this evening. So I want to thank you all once again for your time and then for making yourselves available for us to have such a fruitful encounter. Thank you so much. Dr. Duncan, I'm grateful for the privilege. I thank you so much for permitting me to share this important information with our fellow IT professionals. So thank you so much, and we hope to engage more on similar topics. Thank you so much. I'm grateful.
Thank you so much, Detective Inspector Alex Annan. And I want to also thank all of you for your participation. Along the line, my network wasn't helping. I dropped off and trying to join back, it was just circling. It was not connecting. It just connected. So I want to thank all of you who were able to stay on. And for those of you who dropped and then rejoined for network, we appreciate your tenacity to join. You see, what our brother has shared is very, very important. As IT, we hold a lot of trust. Your boss can leave his or her laptop with you for days, for hours, because you are fixing the laptop or doing something on it for him or her. You also have access to a lot of information. Sometimes they are classified. So there's the likelihood, there's the temptation of being unethical. And when you are unethical, just as he said, when it's about crime, it is not addressed. He made a point, I think I've made, he says, when it's a crime, we don't treat it socially, but we treat it criminally also. And that thing really hits me. You may be doing things with all good intentions, but when the reality dawns, people will give you away. Oh, it is this person who did it, and that is it. Let me end by saying one thing. There was a visit from a higher authority here, in a place, and then I did something. I worked on a document to meet them. And when the people saw that the document doesn't meet their standard, they raised the concern. And then one person said, oh, I did it myself. Nobody authorized me. The person told them, Duncan, did it without authorization. In fact, I was very peeved that I was trying to do this to save the organization. But when it went south, they say that you did it. So we just need to be careful and be ethical, because people we trust can lead us into temptation and lead us into great troubles. I want to thank you all again for your patience. we will share the link, the recording on the page, so that all of you can go through. Myself, I need to go through again because I just dropped at a point, so I need to visit the video and listen to everything again. God bless you all. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Amen.
Mm.